Okay, so I'm here with Sherry. She's the filmmaker behind a film that's in competition in London called The Messenger. Congratulations. Welcome to our festival, very well done. And as I explained, you're the filmmaker. If you could perhaps give us an idea what the film's about, please, Sherry.
Sure. The Messenger is about the Malaysia missing airplane 370.
Mm-hmm.
And the messages received by the messenger is the story of the film.
And we've had, obviously what filmmakers won't know is we've had contact, and I kind of have, I have an understanding of your background. It's quite interesting, but can you tell us how you got into filmmaking?
Sure. Actually, I have never had any film training.
No, you've done no filmmaking before, really, have you, at all? This is
except I did help my kids put one film.
Yeah.
When they were 5 years old. But I never had any experience nor training. I do like to watch movies, but I don't get a lot of time. So I actually don't watch a lot of movies. And I was never known as a creative person.
There must have been a moment, and can you explain what that moment was and how that came about?
Well, the moment was when I tried to talk to my kids and they just ignored me. And I say,
we all get that, don't worry.
Well, so I thought I have to find someone that could not stop me from talking. And the way is and because I love to watch documentary film. So I started making a documentary and created a YouTube channel. Prior to that, I don't even know how to create a YouTube channel. I don't even know YouTube. So it was like about 3 years ago. So I started making my first little video, and then I thought, wow, that's actually a lot of fun. It's like talking to yourself, but now you can talk by yourself, but somebody may be listening. So that's how I started, and I used the most, kind of funny way to do it, because I use PowerPoint to make my video. I don't have any movie making editing software. So, but I'm I'm an accountant, so I know.
So you can know your way around a PC, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I know. But then I found the first documentary video I made actually get more views than I expected. I get like 50 hits a day, which to me it's astronomical. So I said, wow.
350 a week, that's amazing.
Well, actually that one has about 162,000.
No. What, today?
Today.
That's amazing.
Well, but that's about 2 years, I think.
But even so, that's fantastic.
But that started my whole journey, because now I have close to 5 million views on YouTube. And then, of course, the way that I do things is a little different, because...
Are you still an accountant then?
Well, I do tax. I do tax for myself, my family, a few friends, and then I do still do a little bit of real estate on the side, because I can't just say no. But my interest and my focus has been doing filmmaking. And it all started when I realized that I have lived my whole life doing things I hate. I hate doing accounting.
It's uncanny. Do you know it's uncanny, and this is true, how many filmmakers I've spoken to that have been accountants?
Really?
That's honestly true. It's quite uncanny. And they go to it quite later in life, and if you don't mind me saying that, I mean, you are young, to be frank, but I'm quite a bit older than you'd imagine. And I've asked them why they've done it, and they've just said because we never really wanted it, it's just quite boring, and we needed the money, but what we really wanted to do was stand creative. So you're not alone. It's very, very profound.
Well, I think, in a way, now that you said it, I think it could be that we're so creative, but we're holding a box, because you can't compliment an accountant for being creative.
No, you can't. So you're not meant to be, are you?
So we had to do what we wanted to do something, but we can't. So when we're finally at a point in life when we don't depend on the paycheck every week, then we say, we'll do it. But then the way I do it is I just turn off my PC, I start writing my scripts, and then I know that being a minority female, my voice wouldn't be convincing enough. So I did my biggest investment, that is to hire a narrator. And the narrator actually did my reading.
Yes.
And then I put the production together, and it actually worked. I mean, you'd be surprised to know that my little channel actually had two. One is 75% male audience, the other is 75 female. But the one that's 75 male audience, I have close to 20,000 viewers. I have close to 5 million views. Probably next month I will cross 5 million views. And the one with the female, well, I have about 1,200 viewers. But to me, that's acknowledgement. The acknowledgement I never had my whole life. But because
how empowering that must be. It must be empowering.
I know, that made me feel good. And my kids, they used to laugh at what I was doing.
Well, but they're not laughing now.
Because I would ask them, how could I reboot the system? My system is so slow. And they will say, well, can you do anything without me? And then they will hesitantly come and help me. And then I showed them my first 1,000 subscriber. They were like shocked. And then they stopped laughing. They were actually quite proud of me.
I bet.
I have a 19 and a 21. They both are smarter than me, but they are now finally realized that mommy wasn't really dumb. Mommy just didn't have time to do anything for herself.
Oh, that's lovely.
I know. Yeah, and then because I make so many films, I think between the two channels, I probably did close to 400 films. I have long one, over an hour, I have short one, a minute, but then it's whatever I wanted to do. Now I finally get a chance to express myself.
How has it changed you as a person? Because are the person you are now, are you the same person you was 5 years ago?
I think I was the same, except I'm more confident. Because what everybody tell me that I cannot do, I prove them wrong.
Yeah.
And that's something you really can't buy.
And with this film, I know there's a story behind it, but you're going to need to tell us the story, of course, if you don't mind. Why particularly did you? It was set around MH370, wasn't it?
Well, actually, it's. I would say it's.
Well, that's part of the.
It's the storyline because it's the storyline that keeps the story interesting. But what I am actually to show is to show that love really doesn't end with death, and then whether it's because if your loved one is lost, they don't just lost, they're still in your heart.
Yeah.
And whether, like I never put what exactly I mean in a film because it's up to the viewer. So did the messenger really get the message, or it's all his imagination? We don't know, but we don't need to know, because what we need to know is a sad story can be inspiring because we all have somebody we care. And what's really, really interesting is for this interview, I actually had my hairdo. I know still look not that great, but it's not the hairdresser's fault. I went to Chinatown yesterday and I just stopped at one hair salon. They asked me what I do, and this guy from Malaysia, the owner of the salon, told me he waited for months in the airport for his loved one lost in the plane. Can you believe that?
Well, literally a month.
But, well, every day he'll go.
Yeah, go there. Yeah.
So he's one of the person who actually
affected by
lost. Yeah, and it's so amazing that a whole London. I don't know how many people be like that, but I stopped by a salon doing my hair, and he told me that, and he kind of told me a little bit about how sad him and his friend's mother was.
Well, weren't you tempted to say to him, do you know what, I'd really like to...
I did invite him over. Maybe he'll come.
To talk to him on film.
No,
difficult, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, he may even come because I invited him. I said it would be really something. But then, it was really a very interesting story because the thing happened, the event happened in Malaysia. And I actually met my actor and actress in Singapore.
It wasn't on a cruise. Because you've just come back from a cruise as well, I think.
Well, I cruise all the time.
Yeah.
I have to live for myself.
I'd love to go on a cruise. It's my dream, anyway. But yeah, you met the gentleman on there, the main guy on the. So can you explain how, once you'd introduced yourself and you started talking to him, how this story all sort of kind of became, you're formulating something in your head? Well,
what's interesting is you get to be assigned to a table, right?
Yeah.
And on that table there were us and 4 other people.
Right.
3 of them are doctors, medical doctors, but none of them really practice medicine, which is really strange. And I found my main actor.
None of them Sorry, what you mean
They are
retired?
medical doctors, but none of them practice medicine. The first one is this is psychiatrist. He's
Right.
actually a psychic, an ambassador to 3 countries for Egypt. That's pretty strange, right?
Oh, I've never heard of a psychiatrist also being a psychic.
Yeah.
It's kind of someone that's blending truth and, I don't want to say fiction because I can't know, but
So that's kind of, make me start to think if he can do so many things, maybe he can be an actor also. So that was in back of my mind. The other doctor is a pharmacy director there. So he's a doctor but never practiced.
yeah.
And the third doctor is actually a lady in Egypt, but she's the deputy minister of Department of Justice.
So they're all medical doctors,
They're
as
all
in
medical
qualified,
doctors.
but none of them actually practice medicine.
None of them. So I thought, well, that's interesting. So we have 7 days talking to them day and night, well, every dinner. And then so I'm a very adventurous person. So I said, practice your psychic ability on me.
No, really?
Yeah.
But even so, where is the story? You've got something you want to be acting for, but how do you come about the story and equating that story to them?
Okay, well, see, I think being a very creative person, when you show me one thing and another things, I usually find a way to link them. So to link a psychic and psychiatrist to a movie, I found, well, what happened if he's a psychic?
How
And then he gets-
how can you square the circle of being a psychic and a psychiatrist? Because you're diametrically opposed, aren't you? Your points of view are going to be so far apart.
It's
Incredible.
Well, that's why I always wonder, what would you do if you are a medical doctor who's a psychiatrist? But if you get messages from spirits, if you do, then what do you do? Will you be able to analyze the spirit? So then, I always have weird questions in my mind. So I started to think what's interesting was we actually met right next to the place where the event took place. And we met on a boat and the airplane actually lost at sea. So I said, well, how about let me make a movie to showcase his special talent as a psychiatrist and a psychic. So I bring some real life character into the film. And then, well, of course it's not true, but as a psychic, I actually experienced, because he didn't touch me and then we were like feet away, but he planted a message in my mind.
What, really?
Yeah. However, I'm a very strong-willed person, so that effect only lasted about 2-3 weeks. What's really
Only 2? That sounds like
Yes.
a long time to me.
well, but I need more than forever to work. Because what I asked him, I said, "Can you make people love me?" He said, "No, I can't, because I cannot change people." He said, "But I can make you lose weight. Then people will love you." I said, "Okay, great." So he made me not wanting to eat on a cruise boat when the food is free and it was so tasty.
And I bet the food is beautiful as well.
Yeah, 2 weeks later when I get off the boat, the effect kind of wore down. I crave for food again, so I didn't lose weight. But it took about a year because he lived in Austria and I live in California. But I always like to,
Yeah, a bit of a distance.
So I said, I'm planning a trip to England because I was doing my crop circle analysis.
I'm sorry?
Crop circle in England.
Yeah, just tell me. I mean, because I'm intrigued by crop circles. What do you want to say? How do you believe they're formed? Because I believe it's meteorological, but I'm guessing you don't. What you have different beliefs?
No. Actually, I don't know where they're from, but I can tell you some things which you can verify. Okay.
Please.
Okay. There were a few crop circles. The best way to prove the crop circle are real, there's something behind it, is if I can predict something based on the crop circle before the event happened. There was a crop circle in, I think, 2016. I am the only person in the world decoded it. And that clearly says Trump is gonna win. So I released a video before and it happens.
Really?
That's just one of those. You can check my channel.
But how do you, I'm intrigued to know, what's your feeling, how they're created? Are they hoaxes? Are they?
Well, a lot of them are hoaxes.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a theory that if the circle maker wants to have a circle appeared, and he doesn't really have to use the light or alien, he can send a message to you and make you go make the crop circle. It may still work. And actually, it was so intriguing. I think it was February last year. February last year. I said, I wonder if our mind can make crop circle. So I put a video out. I said, I'm going to predict or send messages to create crop circle of 2 different shapes.
Yeah.
And I think we have probably 10 of those shapes that appeared right after.
Because they're incredibly intricate, some of them, aren't they?
Sometimes, but I didn't do the very difficult one.
But some of them I've seen created, and I genuinely think, how on earth was that made? Because if it was a hoax, it's an intricate hoax.
I don't think it's a hoax, because I have predicted about 30% of events that will happen based on the crop circle. Even though they're not very specific, they happened. It's hard to believe, but I do.
No, I've got a very open mind about them. And I would, no one can say how they're definitively. I know a lot of them are hoaxes, of course, but I've seen some circles and I've looked into it a little bit, and they've talked about how the wheat or corn is bent in such a way that it couldn't be done by humankind. It's impossible because of the way it's bent. But we would all the only way to do it is to set up cameras in every field, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, there are 2 crop circles that I don't think anybody can explain that if it's a hoax. Both are in Netherlands. One crop circle.
In where, the Netherlands?
Netherlands, yeah. But one crop circle is multicolored.
Really?
The way they lay, they have different colors. They have like red, because the wheat, you cannot make it. Nobody can, okay? And
so where it's been flattened, it's been coloured as well?
No, it's the plant itself, but the way they lay, they look multicolored.
Oh my God.
With pattern. That one was predicted before it appeared, the shape. Okay, and then the other one is so unbelievable. There's a crop circle, a simple circle, but it disappeared 3 days after it appeared. How? All the bent stem returned to standing form. No,
what,
yes.
And you couldn't tell?
You can no longer see the crop
It's just
circle,
gone.
but they have pictures. They had samples. All those, they bent.
Well, it's going donk.
Yeah.
So that's
that happened in
spine-chilling
2000.
almost.
No, yeah, it's 2014. I read these because I'm interested. So before I start decoding crop circle, I try to see if they're real. I still don't know, but I read and I go back and look at history and see if there's any crop circle happened before major events like 9/11. And I was like, oh my God, because if you look at the 70 days right before 9/11, there were so many crop circles with clear warnings, with like the Pentagon, with the 2 towers. And in Canada, people would say, why don't they just give us in plain English? They did, because in Canada, I think maybe 30 days before, they have the word 9/11 appeared.
In a crop circle? No,
Yeah?
please.
No, really. In Canada, they also had another one, I think it says 4/17, that happened the season before Columbine shooting at the same latitude or altitude of Columbine shooting. So twice they appear in words. People didn't make the link because people really don't go back. I found this, I said, oh my God, they're real. So we went to Wiltshire and tried to find crop circle. Wiltshire.
Yeah, because that's famous for crop circle.
I know, so we did go there, and then we didn't want to just come here for crop circle.
I would.
Well, so we decided to make a film, The Messenger. So we flew to Austria and met with our friends, and then we made the film. And also we stopped at Egypt, and we did, we did some cruise too. So
on the Red Sea or Nile or whatever it was?
No, actually it was a circle around the British Isle.
Oh, okay.
But that's how we made the film. But the film almost didn't happen because when on the way back to Austria, we're supposed to have one more filming day. But we missed the plane in Athens.
Yes, I think you wrote about this in your editorial.
I know,
didn't
yes.
You?
So I was left with the choice of either fly back or not to finish the film. So I said, no, I'm not going to let it happen. So I changed my script, cut it shorter, so it's 9
It's
minutes.
finished, yeah. So
It's finished.
And are you pleased with the end result?
Yeah, I am very happy with the results. And then I think, even though it's a short, it did tell a very complete story.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, and then it's unique. And then this time, like I said, when I met actually somebody who actually lost someone in a very incredible way.
Unbelievable coincidence.
Unbelievable, because I didn't plan to do my hair, but then I said, you know, I'm going to. And out of all the shops, I stopped by one who lost a loved one there. So it's very, you know, so I thought, wow, you know, maybe there was a message, and I'm the messenger.
Maybe that is the message.
That was the message.
We call that kismet. I don't know if you call it the same thing. Or so it's kind of fated and meant to be.
Yeah, maybe that must be. It's really interesting. But I think the thing that I think it's inspiring is for people my age who real empty nester, or you know what you call kids going to college, they have their lives, and we pretty much sacrifice our interest to do what we have to do for our family.
And all parents, I'm the same, all parents do the same. Of course we do. We're genetically programmed to do that. It's the right thing because we're nurturing the human. I hope most humans are by their very nature.
But kids don't need us anymore. But
they
maybe
do.
the world needs us. Maybe it's time for us to shine.
But they only realise they need us when they get older, don't they?
Yeah, and then you know, like I know it's very hard to convince people. Somebody with my limited knowledge, you know, not perfect English, and limited time and resources can make films, serious films. So I'm, you know, so my way of proving myself is one, attend festival like this, and when you select me, even I'm just selected and nominated, it proves that I'm not making silly films.
No, you've done very well.
And then, but my family were still laughing, so I said, I got it proved. So I sent it to a lot of film festivals, and I'm very proud to say that in about 18 months, when I started, I have about 600 film festival acceptance.
Cherry, that's amazing.
And I have about 50 awards, and I have about 250 nominations. So, I mean, I think it proved. I do work for a nonprofit organization. It's called Skills Enrichment Learning Foundation. It's to help people who doesn't have the training to go for their dreams. So I'm using myself as example to tell everybody, you know, don't give up and don't think too little about yourself.
Brilliant, Cherry. That was wonderful, and you're a real inspiration.